Good evening, folks. My name is Pete, also known as MC Intimidator in the music industry. But I'm not coming to you tonight as an artist. I'm coming to you tonight as a father. I'm coming to you tonight as a friend. I'm coming to you tonight as an enemy. I'm coming to you tonight as my new word, a frenemy. I'm whatever you want me to be. But tonight, first and foremost, I'm telling you the truth. I'm sick and tired of my children being abused, abandoned, and neglected, and led to believe it is their fault. This is not their fault. I do not care which way anybody wants to slice this piece of pie because it's still going to taste like dirt, period. I have a very disturbing list of events that have happened to my kids, and I am going to refer back to that here in a moment. But I didn't want this to seem scripted. I didn't want to talk to you all any other way than straight from my heart or straight from the top of my head. That's why it's not rhyming at this point. I don't want it to. Like I said, I don't want to come across as an artist because this is for the safety of my kids. I currently live in Polk County, and there's a lot of counties across the United States that live in an imperial-style system. But this is actually Imperial Polk County. You can take that any way you want to. But the word imperial itself, one of the meanings, is an empire. And that's exactly what's transpiring here. I'm a disabled father who is recovering from full waist-down paralysis. And I still have partial paralysis that I'm going to have to deal with the rest of my life. But I'm up against $1 million family in assets that sold a property to Walmart. So you can figure how much money there really is back in that corner. There isn't any in this one. That's why I haven't sought out civil help, as everyone keeps telling me. I've talked to lawyers. They want $3,000 to $10,000. They won't take contingency payments. It's one of the reasons I'm making this video, because it's the only thing I can afford to do. I'm not going to quote anything directly, just to protect confidentiality. And to all you law enforcement officials out here in Polk County, I'm not going to mention any agencies directly because you know who you are without me even saying it. So, here's the list of things that have happened to my kids since 2010. So keep in mind, this is 9 years. I don't want to come across as combative or biased. That's why I'm doing this from the heart. And I'm hoping that I'll connect with yours, to the mothers, to the fathers, to anybody that loves children and doesn't want to see or hear what they're about to, because this list will make you sick. I've got child protective investigative reports, or lack thereof, that have facts that have been altered. What facts at this point? If anybody else knows where I need to go or how I can seek some type of assistance, it'll be for them to read, because I can't expose it. But this list, be prepared, because it's very hard for me to hold back my emotions, and it's taken me a lot of practice to be able to make this video the way I am for you right now. And all I ask is, at the end of this, please hit that share button. Get this message out there for my baby so that they don't have to be involved in this corruption any longer. I don't have to be involved in this corruption any longer. But I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about them. And that's all I want you to be worried about. The first thing on my list, and this is the most recent, August of 2018, my son was hospitalized because his testicles twisted. He had to have surgery. They had to cut him open and untwist him. They put him under. Why, you ask? Because he was kicked there so hard that they were twisted. He was assaulted by another boy on more than one occasion, on separate times throughout the last year. The only reason I know is because my 10-year-old daughter made him come clean about a month and a half ago. He's been lying to me the whole time. And when you ask him why, he does this. And he'll tell you that he's scared, that he's going to be slammed to the tile floor like his mom did to his sister. That's one of the things that's on this list. My daughter was slammed to the tile floor, and she'll still tell you to date that she was slammed to the tile floor. But all the evidence is being brushed under the rug. Both of my kids have been slapped hard in the head by a spoon and open hands by two of mom's numerous ex-boyfriends. And because there is no, adultery here in the state of Florida, there's nothing that can be done about that. Meanwhile, one of my children have witnessed mom committing adultery, which is why I left her. One of the many reasons. Both of my son's arms have been broken by accident. My son is punching himself in the arm and bruising himself. I have photographs of this. I have so many photographs and evidence over the last 9 years, much of which has been brushed to the side, or even in the court of law, overruled, even though case law and Florida statutes were cited. I didn't have an attorney or a court reporter present, so we all know how the outcome of that went. I have custody of my kids, but I'm paying child support for all of this. My son's had scabies. How do you get scabies? He's not having sex. I've asked him time and time again. He's scared to death of it. Let me rephrase. He's not scared to death of it. He's scared of scabies and other things that can come from it. There was no known outbreaks at the school. I called. I checked. I've never had it. My fiance had it a long time ago. She caught it from animals. Some people say that that's not possible, but when you have a dog that has them live and you're working in a veterinary style environment, oh yes, it's very possible to get them. But we're talking 2004, and that's the only occurrence she's ever had in her lifetime. But when you tell Mom about it, Mom says it's from the dirty-ass neighborhood that I live in and the dirty-ass people that I'm hanging around. Lo and behold, there was a babysitter involved in that time frame that had too many kids to watch. And my kids didn't like her to begin with. There's been an earring infection that I had to treat. My daughter stepped on a rusty nail, and the only treatment was a Band-Aid. I took her to the hospital, and the hospital prescribed topical cream and antibiotic. That to me sounds pretty serious. But why wouldn't you want to get your daughter medically checked if they stepped on a rusty nail? Even though you know they've had a tetanus shot. I just want to know. Molluscum. If any of you all are unfamiliar with molluscum, molluscum is also another skin infection. My daughter had this for months. Not days, not weeks, months. Untreated. And Mom says she couldn't get a doctor's appointment. So when I had the money, finally, after months of saving to get there, I call and make an appointment, and I get it treated, and it's gone. Amazing how that works. A splinter left in my daughter's foot that was untreated. Mind you, I've got pictures and videos for 95% of this. The scabies I don't, because it was in my son's private region. Above it, I should say. And I just didn't want to humiliate him like that. But the hospital knows, and there's definitely documented proof about that. But the splinter? Come on now. It left untreated. I was accused of coaching my daughter of what to say in a video that I made because the video was split. The cell phone I had back then only had like 2 gigabytes of memory, if I recall correctly. It was the LG Volt. I don't remember exactly, but it would split videos into 2 when you didn't have enough room to shoot them. What about the splinter in my daughter's foot, Mr. or Mrs. Investigator? Because I'm not going to say if it was a man or a woman, even though I know it was a man or a woman. What about the splinter in her foot? How can that go untreated? And how do you coach somebody to get a splinter in their foot and it become infected? You can't. There's been investigative reports, facts that have been altered, and I can prove that because I have witnesses. There's been evidence that's been documented and denied. Many of the photographs that I've mentioned, much of the video that I've mentioned, as well as what was submitted to these investigative units, or lack thereof in investigations. There's been Band-Aids that have been left on so long that the skin gets irritated and raised. And when your children look at you and say, oh, well, Mom just didn't change it, doop-de-doop-de-doo, go right back on to playing, that tells me that they're used to this. Private region skin lesions. You can put 2 and 2 together on your own on that one. One of my kids has seen Mom committing adultery, like I mentioned earlier. I'm sorry, and like I said, I may be all over the place and I may forget things, but there's a lot of raw emotion behind this. And like I said, it took a lot for me just to get myself to this level of content, if you will, because I am definitely not. There's been countless grade-related issues that I have had to fix, that I have had to call the school and find out what's going on, because Mom just won't return my text messages, won't call, won't answer, and then the school tells me missing homework assignments, missing school assignments, missing classwork, I should say. My son almost failed last year. He had F's going into the last 9 weeks of school, and he was able to pass with C's. Good for him. But it took some convincing on my end to get him there. It wasn't easy. Last and certainly not the least, my kids are left home alone until 7 p.m. from the time they get home from school. Now, I know many of you parents are going to say, single parents especially, well, that's not illegal in the state of Florida. And if you're a good parent, your kids being left home alone is simply because you don't have anybody else to turn them over to. I'm home 7 days a week on disability. Why in the world would the kids be left home alone when they could be here with me. And I'm sorry. I know that there's probably other people that may be able to protect them better than I am, but when you get a parent irate, he's going to defend his family and protect his kids at all costs. And I'm sorry. I wouldn't stop her, or if the tables were turned and I had the opportunity for free child care to stop my children from being home alone, and it's still not recommended by DCFS, I believe it is, but it's not illegal. All of these facts, all of these findings is my experience. This is not unmerited opinion, and I am begging you all, please get this word out there. For all the children who have never had a voice, for all the fathers who have been backed down into a corner simply because they haven't had the money to continue on in the court of law. And that's exactly what's happening here. I don't have the money to get this in front of a judge out here in Polk County, but considering I've already been there before, and all of my evidence got shot down when I had case law and Florida statutes to back me up, yeah, corruption is out here and it is real. Please, God calling as my witness, hear this. Hit that share button. Get this out there so that kids no longer have to remain in silence.